Hi, this is Paul Edwards with Danmark Company. Today we're going to go on and do the sequel of the extra thick foam validation study on sausages. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a dye validation on sausage. And just recall that we're really big on safety. So right now what I'm doing is talking to you about wearing glasses, protective safety glasses and nitrile gloves to protect yourself from the elements of any chemistry. We're not working with water today, okay? Right now we're working with dye and make sure that you go through the MSDS on the dye and understand completely what the issues are with the dye. Even though that it is USDA, FDA, NSF approved marking dye for food products, it's still good to get an idea and awareness of the chemistry that you're working with, okay? The other thing you need to know about dye is that it's hard to clean, okay? If you get it on concrete, it's hard to clean. If you get it on, plastic materials, it's hard to clean. It's just generally hard to clean, but a lot of good soap and water and a lot of flushing will resolve it. There may be some components that you won't want to use again because then maybe you won't be able to remove the dye. So really, the only time you really want to use the dye is you're going to validate, but you're not going to validate constantly, okay? You validate once a year. You know that your parameters are such that you're getting the coverage that you want. And you may recall in the previous email that I said that this is dye is different to that of spraying off foam. Sometimes spraying off foam doesn't really give you a clear understanding of surface spray, okay? Because the foam may just cling. And the liquid could be going around the foam, and the foam isn't moving. So we saw that in that video before that did. Now this is a little different. Dye is a little different. With the dye, it's gonna permanently stain the position, the areas that it sprays with the dye. Okay, I mean permanently in that you can't wash it off your sausage when you spray it. I mean you're either gonna discharge or you're gonna throw away the sausage after you do the validation study or any meat product that you're spraying, because it's not gonna be, its appearance is gonna be very, well, you'll see here in a second. But anyway, we're gonna use the cover for this sequence and this training, and I'm gonna count out 10 seconds just like I did before in the previous study, so that we get a great idea of what the coverage is gonna be, okay? So I made sure that the dye is present in the tubing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go on and spray for 10 seconds. I'm going to allow 1 second for a little bit more dye accumulation in the line, and then we're going to go from there, because right now I'm not using a check valve and I'm noticing that the dye is draining out of the tubing. So I'm going to allow for that. So I'm going to start counting as soon as I see the dye is in the tubing, okay? So we can get started. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you see the dye there on the cover of the unit? Okay, maybe you don't. Here, let me go and back this up a little bit. Okay, that's the dye there on the cover. Now we're going to see what it looks like on the sausage. Okay, there's the sausage. Okay, I'm trying to keep all this dye contained so it's relatively easy to clean. But I'm going to go on and come down close to the sausage there, and you can see there where it's covered. Now, here's what I want you to understand about this. Okay, I'm going to bring this in. It is visibly discolored, okay? Some areas are darker than the other, but every area of it is colored, okay? And you see that right there? Every area of it is colored. Now, certainly there's some areas that are more covered than other, and I don't doubt that. But what I don't want you to think is that not all the area is covered. It is covered. It did a good job. And a lot of times what happens is that if you compare that, okay, you see this right here, and you compare that to sausage that didn't get sprayed, you'll see a significant difference. Now I just happen to have a sausage that hasn't gotten sprayed, and so what I'll do is I'll pull that out of the carton and let you take a look at the comparison of both, because I think that it's a valid general understanding of one versus the other. So I'm pulling this sausage out of the carton. It's a Kroger product. I don't know who sells the Kroger, but get that off there. Okay, I'm gonna lay this Kroger, this is the same exact product. I'm gonna lay one next to the other so that you can have a comparison, okay? See this comparison there? See the difference? Okay, that's one in comparison to the other. So it's obviously dye. The dye is obviously made a difference. Okay, you see that? See that there? You see where it's darker? But there's no doubt that there's coverage. Okay, I'm gonna put this other piece of sausage right next to that part right there. And once again, just demonstrating that the dye gives you a very good awareness of surface. Okay, so the next study would be using a pump-up sprayer, and unfortunately this pump-up sprayer I have is not functioning right now. But nevertheless, my point is valid, and that is that with dye, it's not like blowing away a thick foam. It's clear that the dye covered the surface area of the sausage. That's our purpose, is to demonstrate that the surface area is covered. We used a Danmark dip system, spray system. So, you know, that's the good thing, is that we were able to say that with the Danmark spray system, we were able to get a good job. With the dye in a pump-up sprayer, it would be an equally as good job. So I just want to thank you for your attention, and I just wanted you to see that what this looks like with the dye test, and just rinse as much as you can with water, because it's hard to get the ink out, but once you get it out, you can reuse your equipment. Okay, so thank you, and contact me at danmarco1@msn.com. That's danmarco1@msn.com, or visit our website www.danmarco.net. Thank you.